Yeah, hey Sean. Just wanted to know if you had an update on the status of AJ Epenesa or any other player that was injured during yesterday's game.
Yeah, AJ, um, he's got a rib and he'll be week to week at this point.
Okay. And in the second half, you really seemed to adjust well after that first drive by Kansas City. Now that you've had time to reflect, what do you think that your guys did well, or what are some adjustments that you made in order to make that happen?
Well, I thought our defense, is that what you're referring to, the defense there?
Correct.
So I thought the defense finished the game. That was an area that we were focused on coming out of the bye, and I thought the players did a tremendous job as well as the staff embracing that mindset and going out there and getting the job done.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Sean. um, you look at Stefon Diggs, and I feel like expectations for him every week, every season are so high. He came out with, I believe it was 5 over 100 in his first 6, but hasn't reached that mark yet since then. What's your assessment of how he's been playing in recent weeks? His game yesterday, obviously, with a couple drops there, and what he's meant to your offense, maybe even while he's not producing at the same level that you've come to expect.
Yeah, Steph is he's an all-pro for a reason. I mean, he's does a great job. He draws a lot of attention, number one, right? So as a number one receiver, week to week, he's going to draw a lot of the double teams and what have you, and he's going to be at the top of the defensive coordinator's game plan in terms of who they need to try and shut down. So within that, he does a good job of even producing, as you mentioned earlier in the year, and then in the last couple of games, I know it's been a little bit maybe up and down, but it's not for lack of his trying or effort or anything like that. The thing I love about it is if you watch some of the plays last night, he was one of the guys out in front when the ball was in somebody's hands, and he was the one out in front blocking, which I think says a lot about his effort and his focus right now.
What do you make of the collection of talent that you have in your running back room right now, and how Joe Brady has been using James Cook, Latavius Murray, and Ty Johnson, who is kind of increasing his role here over the last couple of weeks?
Right, I've been very impressed. All three backs have ability. All three just a little bit different than the next, and in terms of their skill set and what they do. And very impressed with Latavius's veteran leadership in the room as well, and that's an intangible that is much needed in a room. So just very pleased with the way those three have been helping us in all different parts of our offense.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Coach. Ed made a big impact kind of from the beginning of the game with the participating in the sack on Mahomes in the second drive, and then obviously the end with the tip pass. Just what has he meant to this team this season, and kind of the impact he's had?
Right. Ed's game yesterday was a little bit quiet, right, compared to other games that he's had. The thing I loved about it was he continued to work throughout the game, didn't get discouraged, continued to go out there, and then made that big play that you mentioned in the 2-minute drive where he knocked the ball down. I think that was a huge play. I mean, that's not easy to do, right? When you got to time it up just right, and his technique was right on point.
Hey, Sean. To start, I just wanted to check on Micah. Did you have an injury update on him?
I do. Micah had that stinger after the game, so he will also be week to week at this point.
And I know you got this last night, but just with more information now, is that kind of re-injuring what he had before? Is it something new? Like, where does that injury fall?
I couldn't tell you really specifically. I didn't ask that specific question this go around. It's just a reoccurring injury in that same area more than anything right now, Kathy.
Gotcha. And then anything else coming out for guys out of yesterday?
Just Dalton Kincaid kind of re-aggravated his shoulder a little bit, but he'll be day to day.
Gotcha. What did you see of Dalton and Dawson now that they're back on the field again together with Dawson coming back?
Yeah, it looked like both contributed. I thought it was good to get Dawson out there, get him involved early, had the catch over the middle. And took a big hit on that to boot. So that was good to see him respond and get up from that. So both I thought did some really good things, and it was good to have those guys back out there working together.
Thanks.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, John Worrell.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Good. I know you probably went over a bit of this post game, but in the big picture, and I know it's one game, it's one win in a long season, but given the circumstances that led up to the game, just how much can this light a spark, or how important might this win be going forward for you and the team?
Well, like you said, it's one game. We have to focus on the next game, which is the Cowboys this week, John, as you're aware. And but super proud of the guys and the way that they played, the effort they gave, the way they stuck together. When you're playing in games like that against good football teams, well-coached teams, you know it's going to be at least a 60-minute game. And so to come out of there with the win, I think says a lot about their focus, their mentality right now, and again, where we can go as a football team.
And what did it mean to you? We saw the video that was posted later on the Bills website of Brandon, of your speech, and Terry Pagula behind you clapping, and Brandon Beane handing you the game ball. That hug looked like a very warm one. What did you make of that situation and your reaction?
Yeah, thanks for that. He'll laugh at that question. He'll laugh at that. But no, it meant a lot to me. It really did. First and foremost, it meant a lot the way that the players and staff came together and played and coached, and just kept it about the game. I think that in the midst of everything that was going on last week for us as a team was impressive to watch and to see. And the support that I've gotten, like I've said, from in-house, from outside, across the NFL community has been just super gratifying and much appreciated on our part.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hi, Sean. Just kind of to follow on that, we've talked an awful lot about, especially with last year and everything that this team has been through in terms of dealing with adversity. Last week, as you referenced, was obviously a little bit different, but you kind of roll all that in, and to win a close game, especially there, I mean, how much does that really validate what you've been trying to kind of teach and preach and all of those things at such a critical point in the season, with a big one against Dallas coming up on Sunday?
Yeah, Adam, I mean, our guys have been working really hard, and I know we haven't gotten all the results that we've wanted to this point, but there's been lessons in every one of those games, right? And now we're getting into the part of the season where we use those lessons, not that we weren't trying to before, but those lessons, we're using those and the resiliency that's built in our football team to move us forward. And again, when you can go into a place like Arrowhead with that type of crowd and that type of environment and come out with a win, that's a big challenge. And our guys did that, and I'm so proud of them for it. And we move ahead to this week now. That's where our focus has to be. We've got to move ahead and got a very good opponent coming in here, and we've got to obviously put our time in. It's going to be a big challenge for us, but at home, it's been a few weeks since we've been home, and we're looking forward to being in front of our crowd again here.
All right, Sean, thank you.
Sure.
Hi, Sean. Hope you're doing well. A lot of the guys talk about hitting quarterbacks and how much that affects them throughout the course of the game. What went into keeping Mahomes in the pocket so much last night? Obviously, he used to spy from time to time, but it just seemed like your rush lanes were pretty consistently.
They were. I appreciate you mentioning that and noticing it, quite honestly. That's hard to do. Patrick likes to scramble quite a bit, in particular in those key moments of the game. And he got out once or twice, but I thought overall our defensive plan, our defensive line in particular, did a great job being coordinated, working well off of one another, and staying aggressive at the same time. And I think that's the key. And we thought we lost him earlier on a third down that he completed over the middle to Kelsey, and we went to spy the next play, and we're able to get off the field there on the following third down. So it was a good balance, but primarily our front four did a phenomenal job.
It seemed like you did that well in the first half against the Eagles, but maybe it broke down a little bit in the second half. Was that a bigger emphasis throughout the course of the week?
It was, and I think that just goes back to making sure we're on the same page, and then carrying that that discipline and the focus you have to have in order to sustain your level of play into the fourth quarter and beyond. And so when you can maintain your focus, maintain your discipline, you're able to sustain, hopefully, your playmaking ability, and that's what we were able to do yesterday.
How much do you think yesterday was proof that just about any quarterback can be affected by hitting them? I mean, Mahomes obviously makes a lot of plays where you think you have him and he's loose, but it just seemed like you're able to affect him quite a bit hitting him.
Well, I think most quarterbacks, when they're affected, it bothers them, right, in some way, shape, or form. Some more than others, to your point. But I thought we got off to a great start with the first third down when our defensive front four made it happen on their own. I mean, obviously the coverage was good behind them, but they got after the quarterback early, and then from there it usually just snowballs from there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, I was curious now, 3 games in and off the bye week as well, just Joe Brady has 3 games as OC. How do you kind of feel like that's gone over that sample size and kind of coming off the bye with a game? How would you evaluate him?
Yeah, I think Joe's done a good job. The way that he's collaborated with the staff, the way he's led both the players and the staff, certain plays last night and every game, quite honestly, you're going to want back. But I walked into the meeting this morning, and Joe's in there, and he's teaching, he's coaching, and they're communicating as a staff, and I think that's part of leadership, and it was good to see and hear.
And then I was curious with Dawson coming back and kind of, we had talked about reintegrating him with Dalton and kind of getting the two of them on the field and all of that. How did you feel like that went? And is that kind of more of what you'd like to see with both of them healthy?
Well, I think it's going to be, as I said late last week, it's going to be a game plan type of approach, right? And I think probably more difficult than people know when you introduce a player who hasn't been in the lineup for, in this case, 6 weeks like Dawson, when you introduce them back into the rhythm of the offense and how you do that effectively without the offense, really taking a step back, right? So I thought that was proportionate to the plan, and we'll see where it goes this week.
Thanks.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, I know we've talked about how Vaughn's situation is kind of fluid with, if updates come in. So I was just wondering what you felt about the decision to have him active yesterday, both from a holistic and from a football standpoint, and then if it's the same moving forward.
Yeah, first holistically with what he has going on outside, no new information, as I mentioned, late in the week. So where we are with that, there's no information to make a decision on, or no new information to make a decision on at this point. So we will stay up to date as possible on that. And then from a football standpoint, I thought he did some things this week that were a little bit different than he had showed in the past, in terms of putting a little bit more pressure on the quarterback. I think he hit the quarterback another time in there. So I thought we started to see, an uptick in some of the production there.
And then with AJ now being week to week, just what has he meant to this team if you are to not have him for a little bit?
Yeah, he's had one of those years where you're waiting for it, right? And you're hoping for it, and credit him. He's put the work in, he's changed some of his routine week to week. And, he's reaped the benefits of that. I think Coach Washington and AJ have gotten on the same page, and AJ's had a better understanding now this year what we expect. And you see the production. I mean, really from early in the season all the way through the season, including last night, although he was not only out there for a series or two, I believe it was. So just super proud of him. And if he is out, we'll miss him, but we look forward to getting him back.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Hey, Sean, you mentioned your running back room and kind of the diversity of talent you have there. James Cook, another really strong game, over 100 yards, but only about 45% of the snaps. Is there anything you're looking from him to have him get more playing time in that rotation, or do you just kind of like having that running back by committee approach?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of, hey, what does the game plan entail? What type of different things are we looking to do with the 3 different backs that we have? And I think our offensive staff, led by Coach Skip in this case, and then Coach Cromer, they put together a good run plan, and they use all three of those guys effectively. So, sometimes running backs can wear down also, and that's not to say that that's why we're not playing James. It's right now he's a young player. We're going to continue to develop him and hopefully have him playing his
and
best
then
on
with
the stretch.
Micah potentially missing some time going forward, what have you seen in Taylor as he's kind of grown more comfortable with the defense as the season's gone along?
More and more comfortable with what we do and how we expect it to look. Taylor's one of our hardest workers. I can promise you that. True pro, true pleasure and joy to work with. And, we're just super confident in him.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, sorry, one more for you. I will mention too at the top, some fans have mentioned the background there in your Windows 10, and they really, the tech ones really want you to update to Windows 11, apparently. So
is that right?
Is that right? For some of the fans.
We'll have to get my IT guy in here, and he can update it for me, because I have no idea how to do that.
Me either. But
I thought that was pretty advanced.
Yeah. Hey, I'm a Mac guy, so I don't know. I know you love those deep questions that take you deep into the conversation a little bit, and you'll probably love this one. But, I was struck by your answer yesterday when you talked about the support you received this week and mentioning specifically people in the community, Buffalo people that you've met since you've been here. And I'm curious not only what that meant to you, because, I've lived in another state before. I grew up here. And, having that kind of community elsewhere when you don't have your family was important to me. So I'm curious from your perspective, if you could take us into that a little bit, what that was like having that Buffalo support this past couple of days.
So you have good neighbors, right? I mean, it's incredible. When a town or a city embraces you and your family, and listen, I know we've had ups and downs as on the football field this year at times, and we do every year, right? But the unyielding support and love that this community has shown me and my family over the years, number one, plus in particular over the last couple of days, was just incredible and a true blessing that we are very grateful for. Now, but Buffalo, I don't think people give Buffalo enough credit for what type of place this is and the types of people that live here, and not just Buffalo, but all of Western New York. It's and really fans of the Bills, to be honest with you, fans of the Sabres. It's just it's a unique, tight-knit group, and I think what we saw as a family over the last couple of days speaks for itself.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, Josh Reed here. Thanks for taking some time this afternoon. Just a quick question for you. Daquan Jones, how close is he at this point, and how optimistic are you that you're going to get him back soon?
Yeah, there's a chance, Josh, that we get him back. He's working his tail off. I mean, he is here every day. He's got a great attitude, a great outlook on a daily basis, and we'll see where it goes. We're kind of getting into the phase of he's putting in a lot of work with our training staff, with our strength and conditioning staff, and starting to really make those football type movements. From here, it's really, I wait on them to tell me, hey, when is the green light come on? And we're probably between red and yellow right now and moving in that direction, going towards green at some point here.